We live, we lit, we live. We ain't really lit. My voice kind of monotone right now, but fuck it. Who is Tank Davis' toughest opponent? I saw some guy named Jack Talks Boxing on Twitter. He said it was Ryan Garcia. He said Ryan Garcia hit Tank with some of the hardest shots of anyone ever in the professional game. I disagree with that. I don't think that Ryan Garcia was Tank's toughest opponent. I think Ryan had some good moments, but Ryan's moments were short-lived. Remind you that Ryan was dropped in the second round. So Ryan's moments was very, very short-lived. He probably landed before he got stopped. I think he got stopped on what was it, the seventh round, or maybe it was the ninth. I don't remember exactly. But in the round before he got stopped, Ryan landed some nice hooks. We know that the hook was the seventh. In the sixth round, Ryan landed some nice hooks. Landed a nice little right hand, if I recall right. But I don't think that Ryan was his toughest opponent at all. I think Ryan was. I can't say Ryan was easy because Ryan was so fast and athletic. But Ryan telegraphed a lot of stuff. Tank Davis is a boxing genius, so you can't come at him with a checkers game plan. You can't come at him with a black and white game plan. We see some people saying Mario Barrios. Mario Barrios was a very, very tough opponent because Barrios was so much bigger than Tank. At the end of the day, Tank was going up to 140 for the first time. Tank Davis is only 5'5" with a 67-inch reach. Barrios was an extremely tough opponent, but I think Pitbull Cruz was Tank's toughest opponent. I think he was his toughest because, listen, Cruz didn't get stopped or dropped. Every other opponent has been knocked down or knocked out by Tank. Cruz was able to be in there for 12 rounds. I made a video on this recently. When you see the body shots that Cruz landed on Tank, I got to give kudos to Tank for being in condition to be able to still use his legs. We saw in a fight with, what's my man name? The guy that Boost fought recently, Villa. Villa fought the one black fighter. I can't think of his name right now, but Villa wore him down to the body so bad that he couldn't use his legs anymore. So I can't think of that man's name, but when you get hit in the body, you're not able to just float like a butterfly. It slows you down. But Tank Davis was in great conditioning. He took those hard body shots by Pitbull Cruz, and he was able to be victorious. Ellis, yep. Rashidi Ellis, the body attack from Romain Villa broke down Rashidi Ellis, and Ellis wasn't able to just use his damn feet. Tank, his feet didn't break down because of what Pitbull Cruz did to him. But Pitbull Cruz put a hellacious body attack on Tank. Tank was in such great conditioning and of such a great skill level, he was able to survive it and thrive. He was able to get the victory. Leo was his toughest opponent. Leo Santa Cruz, no. Leo Santa Cruz was jumping up. Leo Santa Cruz was smaller than Tank. Much like Hector Garcia, a man coming up from 130. I say this is a rule of thumb. If you are a man and you want to fight Tank Davis, right, do not be jumping up in weight because these are some of his most devastating knockouts, some of his most devastating stoppages. Leo Santa Cruz got knocked out, and I think it was the knockout of the year. He was laid out, but he was jumping up smaller than Tank, coming from 130. And then Hector Garcia was coming from 130 as well. So if you coming from these, I think Garcia might have fought at 26 at one point in time. Yeah, I think Garcia might have fought at 26 at one point in time, as well as Leo Santa Cruz. But these are men that are naturally smaller than Tank. So if you coming up in weight, you don't want to be fighting the Tank Davis. You're just going to get knocked out. Also, if you're in here, make sure you tap in the screen because that's what pushes the live. So make sure y'all always tap in the screen. I thought Tank went to 30 to fight Leo Santa Cruz. Yeah, Tank went to 30, but Leo Santa Cruz, he was coming from 126. He was coming from an even smaller weight class. Tank did go to 30. Leo fought at 130 before he fought Tank. That's facts. But at the end of the day, Leo is a smaller man than Tank. So is Hector Garcia. And I'm not taking away from Tank's victories. I'm just saying, as a rule of thumb, if a man is smaller than Tank and he goes to fight Tank, he's getting knocked out. You know why? Because Barrios is bigger than Tank, and Tank was able to stop him. So it's like double the impact for a man that's naturally smaller than Tank. I'm not saying Tank only won because they smaller or nothing like that. I was just making the point. I think Barrios gave him the best work, although he got stopped at round 11. I think Cruz gave Tank the best work, man. But you know what? I see why you say that because on the unofficial card, Barrios was winning a lot of rounds. Everybody that's tapping the screen, I appreciate it. Imagine if Ryan fought Loma at 135. Ryan would have got pieced up. But I mean, Loma probably could beat Ryan, but Loma probably could beat Tank as well, so that's not really saying anything. Loma is a wild card. He's a guy where we don't know what we're gonna get. We also know that Loma is intimidated by size. So if you're bigger than Loma, you have a better chance. Tio and Devin are bigger than Loma, but Tank and Loma are around the same size, so it wouldn't be it wouldn't be such an advantage to Tank to fight Loma. But at the end of the day, Tank showed when he fights bigger men, he's able to rise to the occasion. That's why I say Tank is more skilled than Loma and more versatile than Loma. Because when Tank was fighting Barrios, yeah, he was losing. Barrios was bigger, but Tank's power and his aggression, his ability to change the tempo and push him through the finish line, he was able to lean at the tape, get the victory. If you in here, make sure you tap in the screen, man. I appreciate that. It pushes the live. You tripping. You said I'm tripping, but how so? Who you got, Tank or Haney? I have Devin Haney. I've explained why in many other videos. People forget that was a late notice fight, and Cruz had to fight 2 weeks before the Tank fight. Well, at the end of the day, if you had a fight before a Tank fight, 2 weeks before a Tank fight, if you're a fighter, then you know that that actually helps you. If I'm coming off a victory and I have another fight 2 weeks later, I don't even have to get in shape for real, for real. I'm already in shape. You just went all these rounds at a professional level. So some fighters, they actually fight their way into shape. Like Ali used to do that because they don't feel like training, committing to training all the time. But if you could win some fights and get on in front of the crowd and move around round after round, that's a way of getting in shape. If Cruz had a fight 2 weeks before he fought Tank, that means he was coming into the fight already in shape. That's not a disadvantage; it's an advantage. I think Tank will make Frank lose easy. No, no, no. Frank Martin is hard victory for Tank Davis. You heard Tank fight in the UK? Yeah, I heard that. That's what's up, man. Tank need to get that money. If you in here, make sure you tap in the screen, pushing the live, baby. Ryan versus Frank Martin or Michelle Rivera next. Ryan will lose to both, I believe. Michelle Rivera is smart. I was going to do a video on that, but Michelle Rivera called out Ryan and Rolly. Michelle Rivera is another guy who has a limited skill set, but since he looks like Ali, he has a little fan base behind him. They was marketing him as like, a lightweight Ali because of the way he looks, and he tries to fight just like Ali. So he has a limited skill set. Ryan has a limited skill set. Doesn't really have defense. More of an athletic fighter, a telegraph fighter. Rolly Romero, limited skill set, tough guy, isn't really slick, has a lot of power, size, and grit. So those guys could all make money fighting each other. And the way that Michel Rivera injected himself into that, because some people may look at him as a B tier fighter. For him to be a B tier fighter and inject himself around other B tier was a smart move on his part.
What's
Yo,
up? What's up? The question is Ryan Garcia the toughest opponent Tank fought or like what?
well, you could say that it's just Ryan Garcia, but it's just in general. Who do you think is Tank's toughest opponent? On Twitter, some dude was saying Ryan Garcia. That's why I decided to make that the background.
I think it's Mario Barrios.
Why?
He gave Tank more trouble. I think. Yeah, I personally I was watching the fight. I thought before like Tank knocked him down, I thought he was winning the fight, and then Tank, obviously with his power, beat him. But I think if Tank didn't have so much power, you'll probably lose to Mario
The Georgia
Barrios.
State Athletic Commission gave most of the rounds to Tank.
Uh, Damn, but I, in my personal opinion, I thought Mario Barrios was winning though.
Yeah, me too. On the unofficial cards, Barrios was winning, like Floyd said, but the Georgia State Athletic
Mm-hmm.
Commission they had Tank's back that night, boy. So even if Tank didn't get
Mm-hmm.
the knockout, he was gonna win that fight. But I mean, the way that the fight was
Or
going, Tank had picked up the
Pitbull.
pace so much. Barrios looked bad for Barrios. Hey Tony, thanks for
Mm-hmm.
liking the live. Everybody that's liking the live, thank you.
I think actually scratched that. I think Pitbull was his hardest fight.
That's what I said. I said Pitbull was the hardest fight. Hey, I don't know. I'm random 315. I made a Twitter right before I went live, and I'm gonna be doing reactions to tweets. That was a good idea, so thank you. And I also mentioned you. I didn't know your actual name, but I mentioned you in that video. But I think that Pitbull was Tank's toughest fight because once again, I've said it a million times, but Pitbull is the only man never to be knocked down or knocked out by Tank. Also, the body shots that he landed on Tank was so clear, and they forced Tank to fight on the back foot.
Mm-hmm. And also
TS Streak, what's up?
him too, but like
Or T Streak, my bad. T Streak, what's up?
yo,
I guess you're on mute. But anybody, who do y'all think was Tank's toughest opponent? I'm gonna ask the chat. Who do y'all think was Tank's toughest opponent? I think that Rolly Romero hit Tank harder than anyone. I think Rolly's punches were the hardest punches that Tank felt in live action. Because Rolly is big and Rolly is very, very powerful. That's one of his natural gifts.
Yeah, he started
People
boxing at
say a
17.
lot of people are saying Barrios. I disagree with the Santa Cruz. I don't think Santa Cruz was hard for Tank at all. Santa Cruz was smaller than Tank, like Hector Garcia. Any man that's smaller than Tank is not smart to fight him. You're probably just gonna get knocked out. Make sure y'all tapping that screen, man. It makes a difference. Get some people coming up in here. He nearly killed Santa Cruz. Exactly. I believe that was a knockout of the year. Santa Cruz was smaller than Tank, so I don't think it was the toughest opponent. I think Santa Cruz was competitive. But think of it like this: the same shots that Tank hit Santa Cruz with, he hit Pitbull Cruz with. But Pitbull Cruz has a different build than Santa Cruz, has different structure, different defense, and he has a better chin. He was able to eat that shit and push the pace with a lot of body shots.
Yep.
So I think Pitbull Cruz was Tank's toughest opponent. Tank's toughest fight was Rolly. See, I could see the Rolly fight too. Rolly, for the
Mm.
first 3 rounds, bro, he put a lot of heat on Tank. Look at some of the shots Rolly landed. Tank was trying to play, keep a poker face and talking shit and making sure Rolly understood that he wasn't phased. But really, Tank felt that shit. He hit him extremely hard.
It's hard to say though, man. Like I felt like Leo touched him the most. Like he was kind of bruised up a little bit,
Yeah.
but
Look, if
it's
you're a
tough to
smaller man
say.
touching a larger man, is not most of the time, unless it's a guy who with a lot of punch power like Tank, is not doing anything. It's a reason, yo. The way that Tank fought Leo Santa Cruz, he would never fight Pitbull Cruz like that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. He was walking through Leo like he was nothing.
Yeah,
He was taking his punches, moving through so he can land his punches.
Bro, what made
Yeah.
Pitbull Cruz his toughest opponent is that Cruz could take Tank's punches.
Yep.
That's what makes him
He
his
has a
toughest
rock
opponent.
head.
You feel me?
There's a rock head.
I think he protected himself real well. He was blocking a lot of uppercuts
Yeah.
and stuff,
and
but
and a lot of the uppercuts he was blocking him by putting his glove right on his chin. That's a great point.
yeah, it's hard to say he could just take Tank power. I don't think he got hit as clean as a lot of other Tank
Oh no
opponents.
no no, he got hit clean. He got hit clean a lot of times during that fight. He just blocked a lot as well, and he got hit clean sometimes. Sometimes he had defense, but the shots that Cruz took, most other men, what they would get knocked down or knocked out, and that's they have. It's in the box rec. Everyone else has touched the canvas or been stopped. So Cruz is just special. He has great punch resistance. There's some guys that are like that.
True.
And Tank he was on a back foot for most of that fight. Like normally when
That's
Tank
because of the way
people
that
up,
Cruz was the aggressor. Cruz was smaller than Tank, so he was able to get under Tank's shots. And Cruz was the aggressor. He came forward with a bunch of body shots. Tank has never had somebody really try to hunt him down effectively. I mean, Leo Santa Cruz tried it, but he didn't really have the power. But Isak Cruz, he had the power, and he went after Tank. Tank has never really had that happen to him before. That's why he had to fight that certain style fight, even with one hand, because he didn't get injured in round one. So.
yeah, I think what
It's
really made
it's
that
smart.
problematic is that Tank was punching down. Tank, that's like the only dude that was shorter than Tank. Tank
Yeah,
beat
it
that
made a
pussy up.
difference.
Yeah.
It made a huge difference. In my opinion, Tank dominated Cruz and showed his defensive capability, but Cruz was going crazy too. Tank won. I wouldn't say he dominated Cruz, but he won.
Yeah, definitely not
Thanks for the
dominated.
gift,
But
Marcos. I
Tank,
appreciate it,
Tank,
man.
Tank's
Yeah,
defense
he did.
definitely won him that match. If you want me to be 100% honest, Tank's defense was impeccable that game.
Yep.
Yeah.
That
His
match.
Footwork,
defense
his
is
movement, his movement. Cruz at the end of the day, if he had actual footwork like a Roberto Duran, he could have beat Tank. The thing that Cruz was missing was the footwork. He had the head movement, he had the body shots. Thanks for all the gifts, Marco. He had everything besides the feet, and that's why Tank was able to win.
I see people saying Barrios was his best fight. I can see why they saying that. He actually did hurt Tank. He actually did hurt Tank. He had Tank wobbling a little bit, but
Yeah, we had Tank with one real memorable shot where Tank was like this on the rope. Like Tank made a face like good shot, but I don't think Tank was hurt in the Barrios fight. I think Tank was worried because he looked like he was losing on points. But I don't think he was actually like the way that Esau Cruz was landing those body shots. Tank was like, oh shit. And right after the fight, when they asked would Tank rematch him, he said, hell no, because that body attack, man, it really woke him up and it really made him have to be on his A game.
yeah. Well, I'm off of here, bro. I appreciate you for letting me join.
No problem, elevated. Brawls is the only good fight because he went up in weight. Still had a weight rehydration clause. Look, man, elevated. Thanks for the follow. Tank is a smaller guy, so guess what? He's going to be putting clauses on these motherfuckers. At the end of the day, if they had a problem with the clause, they wouldn't sign the contract. But they want the money, so Tank is able to put clauses on people because he's the money man. He's making these guys their biggest paycheck of their career. If they have a problem with it, then they should become bigger stars than Tank. It's just that simple. If y'all in here, make sure y'all tapping that screen, tapping that live, liking that live.
You
But
think if they do the rematch, Tank can knock him out, or
I think Tank should go for a knockout in a rematch because Cruz has never been knocked out. I don't know if Cruz has ever been put on the canvas. Do you know if it is a fight where Eastside Cruz was put on the canvas? What's up, Victor?
I'm not sure. I haven't seen one because I was watching his fights when he was getting ready to fight Tank, but
Cruz has
I
a great structure, great chin, big ass head, bro, square head, block head. It's gonna be hard to really knock him out.
yeah, I think Tank should probably try to touch his body.
I mean, I don't really want to see a rematch between them. I need to see Tank fight somebody with feet, man. Somebody that know how to move like how Tank knows how to move. Because literally that's the only thing that saved Tank in a fight against Cruz. I mean, Cruz had aggression, he had body shots, he had head movement, but his feet and his direction of attack was all flat in one direction. So all Tank had to do was be lateral. So I need to see Tank go against somebody that know how to move like him, and then we gonna know like, yeah, Tank can do it against all styles because pretty much he's done it against most styles, but we have yet to see him against a mover.
Yeah, if Cruz would have had like some Frank Martin feet, that would have been crazy.
Yeah, he probably would have won. I mean, if Cruz could move and feint like how Duran was doing against Leonard, he probably would have won. He had everything else. He just didn't have the footwork.
Damn, that would have been
Tank
interesting.
versus Haney is the thing. I got Haney beating Tank at 140, especially if there's no clauses. Haney said he would never accept the rehydration clause, but I mean, at the end of the day, I look at it very simple. Tank struggled with Barrios. Barrios had slow feet. Barrios had to sit there and trade with Tank in the later rounds when he was tired and he was worn down from taking body shots. Devin Haney has fast feet. Devin Haney fights at a constant tempo, at a constant pace for 12 rounds. Tank takes rounds off, and Tank he ups the pace at the last minute of the round. So in order for him to beat Haney, he's gonna have to change up his whole style. He's gonna have to throw more punches. He's gonna have to fight at a fast pace from round 1 to round 12. He's not be able to wait to the last minute. He's also gonna have to cover the distance. Like Haney is 5'8" with a 72-inch reach or 71-inch reach. You know what I mean? Like he's much taller than Tank, much longer than Tank, more rangier with fast feet. So Tank's gonna have to do a lot of running and chasing. I don't know if he's gonna be able to do that, honestly. But if he could possibly land a big shot on Devin, he better knock him out. Other than that, I think he would get outboxed. Y'all
Man,
saying Barrows was 6 feet, but Barrows does not compare to Haney when we're talking about athleticism, the ability to get out of the way of a punch. Go ahead, T Streak, my bad.
oh no, I was just gonna say that Ryan was. It's crazy, bro. Because if you let certain fans tell it, they would have thought Ryan was gonna be as toughest because of the way Ryan was knocking out people. But Tank literally told him in a press conference, "You don't have no defense. You don't have no footwork. You don't have a skill set. Yeah, you punching people out and you super fast, but that's it. Like I can get past that. But once
Yeah,
Tank
but
fights somebody with
it's
skills,
levels. Ryan is at a very elementary level, but Ryan is at a supreme level when it comes to marketing. Ryan is at a very collegiate level when it comes to marketing. So Ryan is in a weird position like Rolly. They don't have the skills to pay the bills, but they have the mouthpiece to get a lot of bills paid. So now the promoters, they have to be careful with who they match these guys up with. But Rolly in the PBC, they seem to not really care who they match Rolly up with because they put him against Pitbull Cruz. Pitbull Cruz is a killer. So I don't really understand the matchmaking for that. They're throwing Rolly out there, man, to the fire. He's getting tested.
yeah, for sure. Why you think Pitbull turned down Shakur though?
Oh, because he was going to lose. He was going to get outboxed thoroughly. Shakur, listen, Pitbull struggles with movers. We just talked about it with Tank. Tank wasn't just standing there in the pocket with Pitbull. He was moving. So if you can move and then box, you're gonna embarrass Pitbull. Pitbull is good at what he's good at: coming forward, body shots, aggression. He could take a hard punch. He's a Mexican style fighter with real good head movement. He kind of uses that peekaboo style of Mike Tyson and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, he can only fight in one direction. So he's going to get exposed against different styles, particularly the American black style, the slick style, the movement.
Yeah, I
Hey,
think
my
Shakur
man,
dominated.
I don't know, random lost money on the Lions because he bet on the rigged NFL. Boy, you should have known. They've been saying that they wanted the Niners in the damn Super Bowl.
Hey, that
But
would
yeah,
have
it
been a
is.
domination, bro.
Huh?
I said I honestly think Shakur would have dominated Cruz, like, cause
Yeah,
Tank
he
was
would have
looking pretty
dominated
cool
him. He would
on
have
the back
dominated him,
foot.
but it wouldn't have been good for Shakur. Like people would have just said he's running again.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody really. I don't really want to see Tank and Cruz rematch. Shakur's go-to defense will not work in the higher weight classes. It only works on fighters shorter. I don't know. Shakur has fought guys who are tall. I think Jamel Herring was taller than him, and he wasn't using go-to defense. He put a whooping on that man. So Shakur could fight in different styles, but recently he looked bad. And against Cruz, he would have won, but ultimately it would have made him look bad to the casual fans because they want to see this man fight. They want to see him do some of that Bud Crawford shit because he claims to be a big fan of Bud and he trains with Bud, so they want to see him be more offensive like a Bud Crawford.
Yeah, that's kind of Bud kind of got like his own style, bro. It's crazy.
So Bud has multiple styles.
Like the way he go about stuff, like I ain't really like it'd be fighters that come every once in a while. Like I think Floyd kind of got his own style, like to where basically people try to emulate them. Like Keyshawn Davis kind of fight like Crawford a little bit. I know he'd be over there in that camp too. He kind
Yeah.
of fight like Crawford.
If somebody said Bud is a pure fighter, Floyd and Bud they fight in many styles, so they don't really have one particular style. I just call it a style of winning. Ali was like that. Ali would change up his whole game plan mid fight to try to win.
Basically, basically like a what Floyd be saying, a adjuster. Like he make adjustments.
Adjustments, yeah, adjustments. It's all about adjustments, not just in a boxing ring, but in life. You got to be able to adjust, or you're not gonna succeed to the next level. You're not gonna pass whatever you're trying to get through. Don't do football betting, y'all. Listen, I don't know, I'm random. You should have read all the shit on social media how they were saying they wanted the Niners in the Super Bowl. This shit is rigged. Even boxing is rigged. Like Rolly Romero lost to Ishmael Barroso, but it was going up against the script that PBC already had written. So they couldn't allow Ishmael Barroso to take out Rolly Romero. Ishmael can't talk the shit that Rolly could talk. Ishmael can't bring in the publicity and the seats, fill the seats like Rolly can. And that's just life, man. If Tank didn't get that knockout, Burrows would have won. Tank was down on the scorecards. No, that's false. Tank was down on the unofficial scorecards. The Georgia State Athletic Commission, if you go look at those scorecards, they gave Tank most of the rounds, even rounds where I think that he lost. So they had his back that night. Shout out to the PBC.
But Floyd did come to the corner and was like, "Hey man, they saying on the
Yeah,
unofficial you down,
unofficial.
but
Yep.
so I need you to knock him out. I need you to get him out of here because we don't know what the official thinking."
Yeah. Floyd was right though. Like I mean, Floyd did the right thing and it had great results.
Yeah,
Good for him.
that was a good call right there.
Make sure y'all tapping that screen in the chat, man. Y'all keep saying Cruz the man fought him with one hand. Well, Tank fought Cruz with one hand. That's correct. But at the end of the day, he didn't hurt his hand in the first round. He hurt his hand later in the fight. The reason he had to fight a defensive fight was because Cruz was putting that pressure on that ass, and pressure busts pipes. But Tank, it didn't bust his pipe. He just had to adjust, and he was able to do that. So
Yeah, the rest of that, if you want it, it's up there.
yeah, you on live, son. No, you good. That's
Yeah,
why, to be honest, I feel like Moore took a dive against Foreman. Looked like Ali and Sonny too all over again. I think Kovalev took a dive against Canelo.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, but that's crazy.
What you think about Francis and Joshua?
I think Francis gonna get Joshua. I ain't gonna lie.
No. I think Ngannou gonna get hurt, bro.
Okay.
The reason why, first off, Joshua's looking great. I can't even lie. Like Derek James, whatever they doing is working. But secondly, Joshua has fought these 12-round matchups. Joshua has fought Usyk. Joshua has fought fucking Klitschko. Like he has real pedigree in the professional ranks. Ngannou, he had a great performance against a Tyson Fury who didn't look the same, didn't look himself, didn't look in shape. Joshua is still trying to prove himself at this point because his career didn't go how he planned it. So he has a big chip on his shoulder. He has all of this experience, and one thing that he has that Fury has never had is raw, natural power. So I think Ngannou, I think he really gonna be in for a rude awakening. He might get stopped.
So you don't think Francis got stopping power?
Francis has stopping power, but did you see Francis with his mouth open, breathing hard as hell in the later rounds?
Well, that's because he's a UFC fighter. He hasn't
That's my
gone
point.
12
That's
rounds.
my point. So when you're a UFC fighter and you're fighting top competition, what Tyson Fury did was an embarrassment to the sport of boxing, but that was also a fluke. Something wasn't right with Tyson Fury. Whether it was that he didn't get to use those gloves that he got to use against Wilder, we don't know. Allegedly, maybe it was he didn't train as hard, or maybe his body isn't the same after going to wars with Deontay Wilder. But that Tyson Fury was not the Tyson Fury of old. What Francis Ngannou did was great, but something was up with that damn fight. It's almost impossible for Francis Ngannou to beat Anthony Joshua. If Ngannou beats Anthony Joshua, he's the greatest combat athlete, MMA or boxing, period. But I just don't see it happen. I think Ngannou might get stopped. Joshua is a whole different animal at this point in his career. He hits hard as hell, and he's actually a boxer. He knows how to set up the power.
Yeah, but Fury, he just didn't take Francis serious. He didn't. I don't even think he trained for that fight at
Okay.
all. Plus, he
Fury,
was
I
looking a little coked
don't think he
up.
trained for the fight either, but that's on him, man. That just hurts his legacy, and it proves what I've been telling people that motherfucker could not hold a candle to Muhammad Ali. People were saying that he was better than Ali. They were saying he was the best heavyweight of all time, and his best win, like his most memorable win, is against Deontay Wilder, a man who we've all accepted doesn't have, very very good boxing craft. So right now, Fury looking hella overrated, and I'm glad that the Ngannou fight happened because it exposed his ass.
Yeah, and then also he kept. I think he was a little coked up because he touched his nose more than he threw punches.
Oh damn.
Go back and watch that fight. That boy, he rubbed his nose over 100 times.
Hmm.
It was crazy. But I came in late, so I don't know what the. I see it says Tank's tough as ops, but what we talking about?
That's pretty much what we were talking about. Who was Tank's toughest opponent? I think it was Pitbull Cruz, but I think Rolly hit him the hardest. Some people on Twitter was saying Ryan. I don't think Ryan was that tough. I don't think Ryan was a walk in the park, but I don't think he was the toughest.
Okay, it slipped my mind. The guy that he went up to fight 140, who was
Barrios.
Mario
Yeah, that was.
Barrios,
I mean, yeah, I can see why people are saying Barrios.
because Tank was losing that fight until he started connecting with that uppercut.
No, that's a boxing myth, man. Tank was losing on the unofficial, but if you go look at the Georgia State Athletic Commission scorecards, Tank was winning the fight overall. Um, Now, even before he got the knockdown, it was a neck and neck fight. But right after the knockdowns, they was giving him every round, like every round after that knockdown. So, and remember the dude got knocked down in two separate rounds. So after the initial knockdown in the middle of the fight, Tank was getting every last round. So he was never really in jeopardy of losing. Only on the unofficial was he losing. But it made for great television, and it also helped him get the stoppage when Floyd warned him that he was losing on the unofficial.
Right. That gave him the fire though.
Yeah, it kindled the fire up on him. If y'all in here in the chat, make sure y'all tapping that screen, man. Appreciate y'all.
Tank got that dog in him like Crawford. So if he think he's losing, he gonna step it up.
Yeah, and they also have real good conditioning to be able to do that. That's not an easy thing to do in boxing. Like they have great conditioning, and they know how to really live in the moment. You
And they
think
talking
Devin's
like,
ready for boots? Hell no. Devin know he's not ready for boots because Devin isn't really a welterweight. Even though he's tall and he can make welterweight, his power right now wouldn't really help him at the top against top guys at welterweight. Devin should just continue fighting at 140, continue developing, and then when he gets in his 30s and really get that grown man strength, that'll probably be enough for him to go and fight somebody like Boots. But Boots would be long gone by then. Boots would be at 154 by then. So Devin should just wait out the division. He shouldn't jump up to 147 right now. It'd be dumb for his career, in my opinion.
well, I'm gonna ask you a question. What do
Yeah.
you think? What do you think Tank's walk around weight is versus Devin's walk around weight?
150 versus 165.
There you go. Yeah. So for Tank to get to 140, it's no problem. But I understand his height. He he got them dinosaur arms. He ain't got long arms and all of that. But um, man, I just can't wait to see that fight for 3 years from now.
I don't think we're going to see that fight for another 2 to 3 years, but I'll tell you like this, all right? And people always try to say Devin is too big for Tank. Tank Devin should accept the rehydration clause, or Devin is a weight bully at 140. But at the end of the day, Pernell Whitaker had Tank's dimensions. Like Pernell was a very very small guy. Pernell Whitaker went all the way up to welterweight, and Pernell Whitaker, in my opinion, he would have beat Devin Haney if Devin Haney came in weighing 165. So if Tank could do it, he could do it. If he can't, he can't. It's not going to be because Devin is bigger than him. It's just going to be because an accumulation of things. Devin is big, but he has fast feet. He's also in great shape. He also can box for 12 straight rounds. He's more active with his hands and Tank. It's going to be a lot of different reasons why Devin could potentially beat Tank. It's not just going to be about no fucking size because I think Pernell Whitaker will beat both of them. And Pernell, you could argue that he's smaller than both of them. Especially, I mean, you can clearly see Pernell was smaller than Devin, but you might argue that Pernell is smaller than Tank. Tank has a bigger musculature than Pernell ever had. But I think Pernell will beat both of them. So it's not going to be about the size. It's going to be about the skill.
That's interesting. I got to put some thought onto that one because that's very interesting.
I mean, do you think Devin could beat Pernell Whitaker?
He's got a chance, yeah.
Yeah, he
But
got a chance, but I'm saying if you had to place a bet in DraftKings right now, are you putting your money on Pernell or Devin?
mm,
Man, Devin will put that
I can't.
stick on his little ass. But
No, man.
I
Pernell
I
can't.
just
Whitaker.
said he go
That's,
win, but
that's,
that
that's
jab would be hard.
First off, Pernell jab was better than Devin. Go watch Pernell Whitaker. But it's been a while since people went and watched Pernell Whitaker because Floyd has pretty much drowned a lot of the guys who came before him because Floyd was so dominant and Floyd was so popular. He was so marketable. But there was great fighters that came right before Floyd. Pernell was one of the greats, and
For
Pernell's jab
sure.
is better than Devin's jab. Go watch him.
For sure, bro. He was in there with Chavez, De La Hoya. I thought they robbed him against Chavez and De La Hoya. I thought they robbed him.
Well, Chavez, of course, he robbed. Chavez wasn't even close. De La Hoya, I understood, but Pernell was older, and at the end of the day, he was doing different things, drugs and stuff, drinking. So he beat. Well, I think that he did enough to beat Oscar, but if he wasn't on the stuff that he was on, and if he focused completely on boxing, it wouldn't even have been close against Oscar. So it's his fault why he was able to get robbed against Oscar. Now the Chavez fight, it wasn't even close. Pernell beat him at all levels inside, outside, mid range. He bullied him. He was bullying him on the ring, walking him to the ropes. Like it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. But I think Chavez was still undefeated at the time, so they couldn't allow Chavez to get that first L against Pernell Whitaker in such an embarrassing fashion.
Yeah, and he beat Roger Mayweather. That was a good win.
Yeah, the Roger Mayweather fight was. And Roger was another matter of fact. The fact that you bring up Roger Mayweather had the dimensions of a Devin Haney. Roger Mayweather was tall with them long ass arms, and he had a little bit of a musculature. Pernell was way smaller than Roger, and Pernell got dropped in that fight. But Pernell was so skilled. His accuracy, his timing, his reflex, everything was he was just a beast at all levels of the sport. So he ended up beating Roger Mayweather, and I'm pretty sure he got a knockdown on Roger as well.
Yeah, that was a really
So
good
that was a
fight, man.
very action packed.
Roger had a good right hand. He was powerful. He had a good right hand.
Yeah.
Yo,
But I get
appreciate you
that
letting me
power,
on
man.
your feed, man. I'll be right back. Hopefully you're still on.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm gonna be on until my phone get under 10%.
Okay, cool.
And then who is that beat Floyd Daddy?
Fight.
Sugar Ray
What
Leonard.
y'all saying? Huh?
I said, who was that beat Floyd father? I think it was Sugar Ray Leonard. That was a good
Yeah.
fight too.
I mean, they said Floyd's father had gotten shot in the kneecap before that fight. But
Yeah.
either way, Floyd's father wasn't gonna beat Sugar Ray. Like he just wasn't. But I hate when people try to use that as a way to say, look, he mastered the Philly shell or he would have did this to Floyd. Floyd's father was nothing like Floyd. Like it's not even close. Floyd's father was pretty much a journeyman compared to Floyd. Why Tank not giving Pitbull his rematch? Personally, I don't want to see that. Pitbull would just lose. Excuse me, Pitbull would just lose again because he doesn't have good enough footwork to beat Tank.
Hey, who you think would have won, Sugar Ray Leonard or Floyd? Prime at 47.
At 47.
Yeah, the Sugar Ray Leonard
All
that beat
right,
uh
let me say it like this. Sugar Ray Leonard, right? His first loss came to Roberto Duran, and all Roberto Duran did was get in Ray Leonard's head and make him fight a dumb fight. So we've never seen Floyd Mayweather fight a dumb fight. We've always seen Floyd be responsible in his fight game plan, no matter what the fans had to say, no matter what his opponent said. So based off of that, I'm going to give Floyd the mental edge and the edge in executing his game plan. They're both extremely athletic. They're both extremely talented. Um, they're both legends of the sport, but it's a reason Floyd is 50-0, and it's a reason Sugar Ray lost to Roberto Duran early in his career. And the difference is their mental focus. You know what I mean? That's just how I'm gonna call it.
No, I agree. That's a good point, bro. Because when I watched the documentary, Ray Leonard had admitted that he fought like that because he was trying to curse his wife and he couldn't understand what he was saying. Then he
Yeah,
found out what he was saying. Like it was just, it was he got to him mentally, yeah. And then you see the
he
second
got to
fight,
him mentally.
easy,
We
beat
never
him
seen
easy
nobody get to Floyd mentally, so that's a big hole.
for sure, for sure. You see the second fight though, bro. He outboxed. He did what he was supposed to do the first time. Outboxed
The
him
first
easy.
time.
But you know what's so
Also, Sugar
crazy?
Ray Leonard, he had to rely on his in his fight against Tommy Hearns. Sugar Ray Leonard had to rely on his power, and he had to rely on the fact that Thomas Hearns had some of the worst stamina out of all the four kings. Ray Leonard was losing the fight against Hearns, and the fight was a 15-round fight. If that was a 12-round fight, Ray Leonard loses. But he comes back in the 14th round and gets the stoppage. Thomas Hearns always had stamina issues. Floyd is one of the best conditioned boxers of all time. So if you're unable to outbox Floyd and you're getting into round 11 and 12, even if Floyd was fighting 15 rounds, what are the chances that you're going to be able to hurt him and stop him like you did Thomas Hearns? Because Hearns, he really only lost because of the fatigue.
Is that you talking about fight two or one?
I'm talking about fight one. Fight two, Hearns won, but they gave it to Sugar Ray. Sugar Ray got dropped twice. And that's another
Yeah.
thing. The age that they fight in matters greatly. If they fight in their 20s, Sugar Ray has a good chance to probably beat Floyd because he was so electric. He could do shit that Floyd couldn't do. Floyd can't throw 15 punches in 5 seconds or 4 seconds and shit like that. He hit harder than Floyd in his 20s and he threw more combinations, so he's very, very dangerous. It would have been like Sugar Shane Mosley on steroids. Mind you, Sugar Shane was actually busted for steroids, but I'm talking about if Sugar Shane was even better genetic specimen with greater footwork and shit like that. But if they fight in their 30s, Floyd would embarrass Sugar Ray Leonard because Sugar Ray Leonard, once his reflexes left, he didn't really have the fundamentals to still really compete at a high level. So it depends on what age they fight too. If they fight in their early 20s, Ray Leonard has a really good chance of hurting Floyd, maybe stopping Floyd. But they fight anytime in their 30s, it will be a massacre. It will be embarrassing to Sugar Ray.
Man, that's definitely true. They got a video out that they show all the legendary fighters at like 38, 37, something like that. And the only one they show Ali against Larry Holmes when he was old. They just showed all the fighters, bro. Ray Leonard, and only one that didn't look like age really super caught up to him was Floyd. He was the only
Floyd,
one.
yep. I mean Pacquiao too. But I mean
Yeah,
Pacquiao was losing when he was young because Pacquiao fundamentally his fundamental base has never really been superb. But Pacquiao, even when he was old, he was still fast and dangerous. But Floyd, he was still damn near perfect when he was old, and it was a beautiful sight to see. So, because he took care of his body, he didn't drink, he didn't smoke, he didn't do no drugs, and he stayed in shape. So that's why he was, and he also had great genetics. So it was just the perfect storm. But all the other great boxers, by the time they hit 36, 37, it's a wrap. They done. They're nothing like how they was in their youth.
yeah, that's actually crazy, man. Father Time is definitely undefeated, man.
Yeah. I mean, even when you watch Floyd's last fight against Berto, his that was the first fight where his balance didn't look good. Like he was
Yeah,
falling and shit around the ring because he was 37 years old. His That was the first time Floyd balance didn't look good. He was out that bitch slipping and sliding.
yeah. His dad said after the fight, he was like, man, he was like, man, when you're not, he was like, man, when stuff ain't looking the same as it did, years ago, it's about that time to start retiring for something dramatic happen. Like,
Yeah.
you feel me?
Yeah, Floyd got out at the right time, man. That Berto fight, he made it look easy, but I saw shit in that fight. I'm like, damn, this motherfucker slipping and sliding. And it's Floyd, he's had some of the best balance we've seen. So to see him lose his balance, I mean, he was 37. Equilibrium is getting different. You've been boxing your whole life, your punch resistance is getting different, your balance is getting different. If he would have stuck around for like 2 or 3 years, he probably would have. He not only would have lost, but he probably would have got stopped eventually, because he looked real sloppy in the Berto fight.
Yeah, yeah. That's crazy, bro. Any other 38-year-old, bro, Berto probably would have knocked him out, bro.
Yeah. Aaron Pryor versus Mayweather. I mean, Aaron Pryor was a guy that could beat a lot of guys, but he also had some really bad losses. He was just an extremely dangerous fighter. Aaron Pryor, Matias reminds me of Aaron Pryor. Like dudes like that, you can't even like. I don't even look at him like you know who's better. Like Aaron Pryor could beat Floyd in one fight, but Aaron Pryor still wouldn't be better than Floyd. He still wouldn't be more skilled than Floyd. And if he fought him more than once, like 3 times, he probably will lose the other two. Like that's the type of fighter Aaron Pryor was. He's a wild card. It's like he fights in such a wild, unorthodox style. He has power and all of that shit, but his defense isn't really the best. He doesn't mind getting hit. He leaves his chin open and shit like that. So a guy like that is always gonna be able to beat people, but he's always gonna have these big losses. Like Aaron Pryor has been stopped. Aaron Pryor has been dropped hella times. You know what I mean? He's also been inside of memorable wars, with Alexis Arguello and shit like that. But he's just a wild card type of fighter. So I don't know. I never even thought about, well, who would win, Floyd or Aaron Pryor? Aaron Pryor could beat Floyd, but if they fight more than once, he's losing every other fight because he's just not technical.
Yeah, I see
Pretty
somebody
sure
say
Floyd or
Bud
Pryor.
is almost 37, so I'm like, what'd be really shocking, bro, is if, because Bud just put on a crazy performance. He was fighting like he was still in his 20s, but
Bud ain't
Floyd was
smoking
saying,
either.
yeah, Floyd was saying you could get old overnight in boxing. He was
Yeah,
like,
you
this is that
can.
type of sport. That'll look crazy if Bud his next fight he don't look like he looks 37 in his next fight. That'll shock people.
This is the thing though. The way that Bud fight, Bud paced himself real good, and Bud has crazy power. So if all Bud has to do is shorten up his movements even more, like take like a George Foreman approach, keep a little bit of the footwork and shit like that, but just shorten up his movements even more and continue going for the knockouts. Eventually, he not be able to get the knockout against somebody, but if you watch the way that he's been pacing himself in his fights, he's not out there trying to throw 15 to 20 punch combinations. Like he's literally trying to knock people's heads off. You know what I mean? Punch they gut out. That's what he's doing. He's picking his shots very carefully. Against Errol Spence, he didn't move that much. He stood there in the pocket, put his hands up, showed Errol a crab guard defense, and shoulder rolls, put his guard up right in front of his face. Like, so Bud is going to be fine. Bud has fundamentals. He could fight while he's old. He held at the right times. He's not in there trying to be Sugar Ray Leonard. So I don't think Bud is going to age overnight.
Yeah, I think he stay in the gym. From what they say, he take care of his body real good. So he probably one of the ones that's gonna last. But it'll just be wild though, man. Like if Father Time just come out of nowhere, that'll be wild. Like
Yeah. I mean, nah, I don't think Father Time's coming. Like that Father Time really hit those dudes, the partiers and the drinkers and the smokers and shit. Bud lived a clean life. He probably can give us 3 more great years. I mean, eventually he's gonna have to stop, but yeah.
No, for sure, for sure. He said he won't.
What's
He said
up?
after the rematch with Earl, he won't. Canelo, I really don't think. Because Jamel is physically bigger than Bud, bro. I really think Canelo knocks Bud out because Bud
Yeah,
is
Bud
not
will
running.
get knocked out because of his style.
Yeah, he's not going to run, bro. He's not
Yeah,
going to
he's
try to
not
run.
gonna run. He's gonna get knocked out.
I told my brother I bet him $1,000, bro. He get knocked out for sure.
I mean, Canelo gonna be the favorite anyway, so you're not gonna make no money betting on fucking Canelo.
No, that's facts. That's facts. I hope they make that happen, though. I ain't gonna lie. Because I need my money back. My brother got
It
money on
happened.
because of the Earl fight.
What's up, NBA?
What's up?
Why do people think Matias is overrated? Well, because Matias, people think that it's all about looking pretty in the boxing ring. And Rolly mentioned this, and Rolly was right. People think that if you don't fight like Floyd, you can't fight. They don't understand that it's called a sweet science, and different scientists are going to have different approaches, different thesis, hypothesis, all that good shit. And at the end of the day, when you what you cooking up in your lab, you go out there, you might have an explosive reaction on the motherfucker that nobody expected you to have, i.e., Ishmael Barroso up against Rolly. Like this is boxing, and in the science of boxing, in science they always tell you it's about possibility and probability. So somebody can have a .01 chance of beating somebody, and that .01 could come to light, and they could win. So it's not really about looking pretty. It's not really about having the best shoulder roll, having the best pad working on it. It's so many other factors that you have to factor into it, just like in the science experiment.
You
And
gotta
it's uncontrollable and unforeseen factors too. Go ahead, NBA. My bad.
you gotta study film and stuff too when you're a boxer.
Yeah, Floyd loses to everyone he faced without gloves. I mean, that's he's a boxer. They box with gloves on. What's the point of you saying that? What the hell? That's like saying, yeah, man, I'm gonna get every girl pregnant without a glove. Of course, like the fuck, like, and then even then, why the hell would you want to be doing that in the first place? Like, yeah, I'm gonna mess with 20 girls, no glove. It's just dumb. That's how that statement came off to me. Floyd loses to every opponent without gloves. It's boxing. They fight with gloves.
If it
His
was,
toughest opponent was Cruz. Yeah, I agree.
Hey, Floyd, one of my favorite fighters of all time, but I disagree with him when he said Roberto over Ray Leonard because I feel like Ray Leonard made Roberto quit. That's one of the most humiliating things that you could do is quit, bro.
Yeah, but I mean, he beat him the first fight. In the second fight, if you know the background, uh, Ray Leonard paid Duran's manager to force a certain fight date. Roberto Duran went home and got extremely out of shape. He was damn near 200 pounds. All he was doing was eating and having sex and celebrating being the champion. He had to try to get back in shape and hurry up and fight Ray Leonard. Not to say that he wouldn't have lost anyway, but at the end of the day, it was just a bad setup. Ray Leonard was very, very slick, called for the immediate rematch. He was also slick in paying Roberto Duran's manager for making the fight out of shape. But when you
he
look at
fight Floyd
the two
Mayweather
of their
father.
careers, huh?
He fight Floyd Mayweather father.
Yeah, he fought Floyd Mayweather's father. But when you look at their two careers, like Roberto Duran done stuff that Sugar Ray wasn't capable of doing because Sugar Ray bag wasn't that deep. Sugar Ray was a guy that fought with his athleticism, his toughness, his confidence, stuff like that. Like he was kind of like Ali. But Roberto Duran, he could fight on the inside, the outside. He could do the Sugar Ray style. He could do a Joe Frazier style where he's ducking and lunching forward with power. He could do a style where he's just trying to land for points. He could do a style where he's trying to go for the knockout. Like Roberto Duran is one of the most versatile fighters of all time, and that motherfucker had short arms. He was built pretty much like Tank, but he went all the way up to damn light heavyweight. I think against Iran Barkley. No, not was it not light heavyweight? Like I think it was like middleweight or some shit
Went to
against.
middle.
Huh?
He went to middleweight.
Yeah, he went to middleweight up against Iran Barkley, and was able to win. Like, and this man started at lightweight. He's not supposed to be able to do that, but his skill level was so great, he was able to do things that other men couldn't do. He's literally one of the he's at least top 10, one of the top 10 greatest fighters of all time, based off his skill level and his resume.
Nah, for sure, for sure. But I did see the backstory. They talking about he needed a shot a couple of days before the fight, all type of stuff. Like,
Yeah, I mean that's his fault. He ain't nobody telling him to go out there and mess with all the damn women and gain 40 pounds and like, come on, bro.
Yep.
they felt like it was a miracle he won.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe he really didn't think that he could beat Ray Leonard. So he was shocked.
Because then they say he came from 35 to 47. Because at that time, I think 40 didn't exist.
Yeah, he jumped up and beat him. Like it was like wow. Listen, all those guys, the Four Kings, as well as some of the guys before their time, like Sugar Ray Robinson. Um, what's my man name? The guy that Ray Robinson ducked, Charlie Burley. All of these guys could potentially beat Floyd in a one fight deal. At the end of the day, when I look at some of the black fighters that Floyd fought, they were really good. But Floyd never fought another all time great black fighter. Like Ray Leonard, he had to fight Hagler and Hearns. Shane Mosley is not no goddamn Thomas Hearns or Marvin Hagler. Zab Judah is not Thomas Hearns, Marvin Hagler. Demarcus Corley damn sure ain't Thomas Hearns and Marvin Hagler. So Floyd, he is the best in my opinion, but lucky for him, he never really had to fight another super fighter who was also a black fighter. So I mean, he's just lucky that he never really had to do that. So it is what it is. But all of those guys have a chance to beat Floyd. All the
I
Four
seen
Kings and guys like Sugar Ray Robinson, Charlie Burley, like the top of the notch dudes, they all have a chance against Floyd. We don't know who will really win.
I seen a video of Floyd breaking down how he had beat all four of them. He was like, Tommy. He was like, he got a crazy right hand, but he was like, he kind of chinny. He was like, he can't really take it when you start punching on him.
That's facts, and he gets tired. So I got Floyd. People get mad when I say this, but I always say Floyd will beat Tommy Hearns, especially in a 15 round fight, just because Floyd don't get tired. So Um, Ray Leonard, I think all Floyd will have to do is take it to his body. Hagler would be too big for Floyd. I think Floyd would lose that fight. Hagler would be too big for Floyd, and Hagler would have things that somebody like Oscar De La Hoya didn't have. Like Hagler, he knew how to really, really use his feet. A lot of Floyd's best fights are against flat-footed Mexicans. Like Hagler knew how to box and move. He doesn't get credit for it, but go watch his actual fights, the full fight. He could box and move, and he could bang. Now, who was the other one? Duran. Duran, that would have been a crazy, crazy fight, a tricky fight. Floyd at lightweight versus Duran at lightweight. Floyd could potentially lose that fight. Duran was amazing at lightweight.
I
Hearns is
think
six
you're right.
one, but Hearns is 6'1", but Hearns isn't like no really wide or super muscular guy. Hearns was linky, like he was slim. Hagler was really a full type of guy. Like Hagler, the better physiques or more musculature physiques out of top level boxers, especially at middleweight.
I was a little surprised that Duran went to distance with Hagler, but got starched against Tommy, though. I was a little surprised by that.
You said Hagler got starched, or you mean Tommy got starched against Hagler?
No, no,
Oh no,
Roberto.
you said Durant. Durant, my bad. At the end of the day, styles make fights, man. Thomas Hearns had electric power. Thomas Hearns almost stopped Hagler when they fought. People don't watch the fight. They just say, "Oh wow, that was the greatest 3 rounds of boxing." Hagler won. Hagler was hurt multiple times, and but Hagler had such a great chin. Like I don't know, that man was just different. But Tommy Hearns almost stopped Marvin Hagler in early rounds. So I wasn't shocked that he was able to do that to Roberto Duran. The thing that I'm shocked is the fact that Ray Leonard was able to deal with that shit with a fucked up eye and still win. That's what I was shocked. Like Ray Leonard, his durability and his prime is legendary. And it was 15 rounds. So that man was a super athlete. I don't know how Ray Leonard was able to beat Thomas Hearns.
No, I wasn't shocked that Tommy knocked out Roberto. I was shocked that Roberto went to distance with Hagler.
Hagler, okay. I mean, but Hearns hits harder than Hagler. Hearns had more power, like a Deontay Wilder electric type of power, or a Tank Davis. These guys, he was a little bit faster than Hagler. You could go watch some of his sparring sessions in the Kronk gym and shit. Like he could put punches together from different ranges and angles. He had a much longer reach than Marvin Hagler, and his built like it was just he was built to generate power. So he had electric punching power. He could knock your lights out. Hagler had thudding power like an Errol Spence with a little bit of that electricity as well. Like Hagler, his knockouts were amazing sometimes too, but Hearns his shit was like lightning, hitman. That's why they called him the hitman. Like boy, he hit you with that damn right, shit, night night.
Oh man.
Hmm?
People keep saying that, bro. Hagler got robbed against Leonard.
He probably did. I
I
mean,
think he did.
listen. Hearns knocked Leonard down twice. They called that shit a draw. Like they wasn't trying to have Leonard losing to these guys. Leonard was the media darling. I don't know whose ass that man kissed when he was coming up in the game, but they protected him a lot, and they wanted him to be remembered as the best. So who knows? Maybe Hagler did. Hagler his road to the top was totally different than Leonard's. Hagler was on the level of a Sugar Ray Leonard his whole entire career. Sugar Ray was getting the biggest paychecks from the time he left the Olympics. Because Sugar Ray, I'm pretty sure he won gold. He was a gold medalist. Hagler was a guy that would beat the hell out of a guy and get robbed in the pros and have to come back and knock everybody out. That's why when you look at his box rack, all you see is knockout, 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 knockout. Hagler had to get it out the mud. So they really didn't want Hagler to beat Sugar Ray. And Sugar Ray, he avoided Hagler for a long time. That's why they fought when they was in their 30s instead of in their 20s.
Yeah, they said
The
it was
same thing
5
happened with
years,
Julian Jackson.
but I thought it's because he had a detached retina that it was 5 years.
People keep saying that bullshit. He could have fought him before the he could have jumped up like Roberto and fought him before the retina because he was getting called out. Or he could have fought Aaron Pryor too, but he didn't want those fights. Like Ray, he ducked a lot of motherfuckers. But anyway, after the detached retina, he didn't come back and fight Hagler. He come back and fought somebody else and then waited even longer to the point where it was like after he saw that Roberto Duran didn't get knocked out against Hagler, that's when he was like, okay, yeah, I'll do it. Because Hagler wasn't the same guy anymore. Because Hagler went through war after war after war. The way that Hagler career was is kind of like how Benavidez' career is. Like he had to really beat people ass. He had to get knockouts, or he was going to get robbed. And now he's remembered as like this great boxing hero, this great warrior. But when he was actually fighting, the boxing world wasn't really trying to work through Marvin. I guess he didn't kiss the right ass.
The same thing happened to Julian Jackson as well. He tried boxing early on, and then he was either threatened with bad decisions or whatever, so he had to knock people out, and that's when
Yeah.
he ended up having like some of the craziest knockouts ever.
Because pretty much you find out like I'm just an amateur boxer, but I already pretty much found out real quick. If you don't have nobody backing you, if you don't have no name, whenever they can rob you, they will rob you because it's a business. So some fighters they get put through a whole different process to where they learn like, look, I gotta stop this guy or they're gonna ruin my whole career. I will never be champion. I will never make no fucking money. Hagler was put through that. My man Nick said Julian Jackson was put through that. Boxing is just a business, man. It is what it is. And either you can adapt or, and overcome, or you just get lost in the wayside as a journeyman. Look at your boy Emmanuel Augustus. Emmanuel Augustus was robbed routinely. He's probably a
Yeah.
guy that should have had a much more illustrious career. He should have been remembered like how Prince Nassim Hamed is remembered. You know what I mean? He should have been matched up very well. He probably could have went like 33-3 or some shit like that. But his box record looks horrible. But you go back and you watch those fights, and he was outboxing a lot of those dudes.
His fight with Floyd was really good too. Like he put him in deep waters as well. Like he had to
Yeah,
really,
man, that was Floyd's hardest fight.
yeah. I think between Augustus and
Miguel Cotto.
um, yeah, and that's
Yeah.
because Floyd had to fight in them. Like he couldn't just stay on the outside outboxing them the whole time. Cotto and Augustus both took it to him. But then you have to give Floyd credit too, because he showed that he can really work inside as well. And he's not afraid to exchange and stuff like everyone says he is. Like if you want proof, go and watch those two fights.
They said Salvador Sanchez got taken out because he didn't throw the fight against Alfredo Gomez. I don't know about all that, but all I know is this. Salvador was so dominant as a fighter, and boxing is so dirty. And in Mexico, the whatever is like, say if you say America is dirty, in Mexico, their government is so much about the money that I could see them telling, Salvador, look, this is what we need you to do, and him saying, no, I'm not going out there getting my ass whipped for y'all. And then next thing you know, he pops up in the car crash. Like this is the world that we live in. I mean, there are rumors to this day that the mob they killed Sonny Liston. Like Sonny Liston's wife tells a story of how she comes home and this man's hands and everything is all swollen like he's been poisoned. Like this shit happens, man, because you're talking about millions of dollars when you get into the top level of the fight game. So if you don't do what someone says, they could potentially take you out. That's just what it is. Salvador Sanchez's death was very, very surprising. It was very shocking for him to die. I think he was 23 years old. It did look kind of fishy. It does look kind of awkward. But it is what it is, man. The man been gone for years, and it hasn't been no fighter out of Mexico that could fight like that ever since. So
He probably had the most potential ever. I think he like for him to be that young and that many wins and be that dominant, he could have been like he
imagine
could.
him actually getting to square up against Pernell Whitaker one day. Like if they did kill that boy, they probably regretted it looking backwards. They should have did like how they did Rocky Marciano. Like Rocky was good until he retired. Once he retired, then he gets into this this plane crash or whatever. But they should have allowed Salvador to finish his career out. They would have made more money.
Yeah, they could have made more money. He could have been a huge cash cow for boxing, but they
Yeah. Then they could have went ahead and got him up out of there, right? No, I was just playing, but yeah, they should have held off on that shit.
Hey, a lot of people say that this guy named Edwin Valero had a lot of potential before I think he
He's a
died.
criminal, right?
yeah, he died.
Oh,
Yeah.
he died. I thought he got locked up or something.
Yeah, I
I
think
think
he, I think he
Valero
did get
got
locked up.
locked up and then supposedly killed himself in prison. But
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Yeah,
but
Mikey Garcia said he sparred with him, and everybody just said he had a lot of power. And they said if he was still around that time when Pacquiao was coming up all the weight divisions, they said he would have beat Pacquiao.
I mean, a lot of this shit, boxing is a dirty, dirty, dirty game. It's been a dirty, dirty, dirty game for a long time, and that's just how it is, man. It's never going to change. So there's always going to be stories about guys who something happened to them or somebody cheated them on this fight or they made sure they couldn't make it to the top. It just is what it is.
it
But
just
yeah,
sucks that we can't enjoy the sport where someone's actually better.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
And
mean, at the end of the day, see, uh, at the end of the day, a lot of this stuff is about two things: money and race. So people don't want you making more money than them, and that's just business. That's capitalism, and a lot of the races they're always competing. So you don't necessarily want other races to just be taking over and dominating all the time.
yeah,
Mexicans, they aren't like they are a nationality. They're not even really a race. So it's like unless you look like Canelo, where you pass it for Caucasian, they don't even really want them to be the top at the sport. So they probably did take out Valero and damn Sanchez. It is what it is.
I think I said it to you on another live. I think Bob Arum's like I'm white, but I think that Bob Arum is definitely like a very racist promoter.
You can tell. I mean, it doesn't. You don't need. See, most white people they be trying to like gloss around that shit. Me, I don't care that people are racist because that's how life is. People are going to be racist, so it's just how are you going to
Yeah,
deal with it. But Bob, it's clear that he doesn't know how to market black fighters, or he doesn't want to market black fighters. There's no way that Terrence Crawford and Manny Pacquiao didn't fight each other. There's no way that Shakur Stevenson and Lomachenko didn't fight each other. Like you had Terrence Crawford, a man who was known as pound for pound number one in the world, under your stable, and you was unable to make money with him. But you was trying to
yeah,
market Lomachenko like he was fucking Floyd Mayweather. Come on, man.
yeah. No, I agree. I will admit though, I do think that um, Loma is a generational talent, but
Yeah, me too.
he,
Me too. But I think that Loma's talent doesn't really get. He doesn't execute his talent in the biggest moments. So I call him. He's like
yeah,
Peyton Manning.
yeah, I think he just chokes. He just chokes when it's in the big moment.
Yeah,
Not,
He's like Peyton Manning. But he's a marvelous performer. You can't take it away from him. He makes it look pretty. the angles. He's a beautiful boxer in the ring.
Yeah,
High IQ.
100%.
Y'all, are you guys talking about Tank's toughest opponent he's already fought, or
Yeah, what's
somebody
that behind?
Yeah,
upcoming?
toughest opponent he's already fought.
Who is that behind? You're talking about Ryan's the toughest opponent?
No, I just put that there because someone on Twitter believed that Ryan was his toughest opponent. Some guy said that let's not act like Ryan isn't good. He hit Tank with the hardest shot.
So who do you think is?
Ryan didn't really
Pitbull
do
Cruz.
much.
Pitbull Cruz is his toughest opponent.
I think Barrios is.
I can understand anybody saying Barrios. I think it's Cruz because at the end of the day, Barrios got stopped.
I would say Cruz because most people thought, I mean, not most people, but a lot of people thought Cruz won that fight. When the other ones, like, it was either a knockout or, like, very one-sided.
To
So
this
whose
day,
resume is better, Devin Haney's or Tank's?
huh?
Haney.
Whose resume?
Devin Haney.
Oh, Haney's. That's not really a debate.
Devin beating a guy like Kambosos is like a better opponent than every single one of Tank's because Kambosos beat.
No, I can't say that. Ryan more dangerous. Ryan is more dangerous than Kambosos.
But I'm talking
Yeah.
about belts. He literally beat the guy with almost all the belts. So for him to beat a guy that beat, T.O., that's a good win. He had all the belts. That guy's a unified champion. He's never even been a champion.
I think he got lucky. I think he had a good night, and T.O. had a bad night. I don't think Kambosos will ever beat T.O. again. If they
If they run it back, he'd get starched. 100%.
I mean,
Kambosos would get starched.
Well, Haney also beat Lomachenko, which is like a better feat than Tank has ever.
Lomachenko, that's a better point. He's better than every person Tank has fought. Easy.
Yeah, and I don't think Tank could beat Lomachenko either. So I'm gonna just say that.
Oh,
Is it a hot take to say Teofimo has the potential to beat Tank, or no?
No, that's not a hot take. They all have potential to beat each other. They're all very, very good and borderline great. We just don't know how great they are because they're not fighting each other.
T.O.'s the best guy in the division right now. He's number one at 140 now.
T.O. not better than Haney in my opinion.
Yeah, I think Haney's number one.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, this is common sense, bro. He beat Josh Taylor. Who did Josh Taylor beat? He beat Regis. I mean, it's technically means
He beat the shit out
Josh Taylor like an all-world type of guy where it's like, yeah, man, it's Josh Taylor. He beat Josh Taylor. No one has ever put Josh Taylor on their top 10 pound for pound. I never heard anybody say, yeah, Josh Taylor, he up there. He in the top 10 pound for pound.
He was on a couple lists, though. I think he was like 6 or 7 on a couple big lists with pound for pound.
Look, man, y'all got to be honest. Y'all talk about boxing, nobody's bringing up no goddamn Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor beat 4 undefeated champs. What do you mean? Josh Taylor is very good. I'm just saying he's not all world. Like, no one is going to say Josh Taylor is one of the best in the world. At no point in his career was people saying, yeah, man, Josh Taylor, he that fucking guy. No.
He was the best in his division at one point.
Huh?
No. He was the best in his division at one point of time.
You talking about at 140?
Yes.
And now all the most talented fighters from lightweight are moving up, and he got thrashed.
Yeah.
So that's just what it is. Sometimes you could be the best in the division, and your division could be weak. The talent pool could be weak. All of these lightweights are going to 140, and now Josh Taylor didn't even put up a fight against T.O. Josh Taylor, can he beat Devin Haney? No. So
okay, if we're just going off by who Devin and T.O. beat in their division, T.O. is better.
No way. There's no way, bro.
So I don't think T.O. will beat Haney, but you know what, though? That's a 50-50. T.O. and Haney is a 50-50 fight.
I think Devin outboxes him, bro.
I got Devin, too, but that's a 50. T.O.
I seen them stand next to each other, bro, and T.O. is way littler than what I thought he was to Devin. Devin is like 5'9", bro.
Devin's like bigger than all of them.
And also, I think Devin Haney got better after he fought Lomachenko. Like, when he moved up a weight class, I think he got better, especially, like, his performance against Regis Prograis.
One thing I read, I don't know how true it is, but I wouldn't not believe it. Supposedly, in the Lomachenko and Haney fight, Loma came in on the night 138, and Haney was 160 on the night. So.
Oh yeah, he's a weight bully for sure.
Supposedly.
I don't know why people say that would be a weight bully thing, bro. That's just the way he is, bro. You can't come. I'm tired of the new fighters now with the weight bully. If we make weight, that's all that matters, bro. I'll see you on fight night. All that hydration, all that bully weight shit.
When we fight, we're gonna fight, and that's it. If I made weight, we made weight.
Exactly. And nobody complains about that
Loma.
except a guy like Tank. You know, he's a crybaby.
Haney might have been bigger than Loma, but at the end of the day, all that size didn't mean nothing in the 11th round.
Yeah,
And in
it
the
didn't
10th
mean
round, when
anything.
Loma started taxing that ass. But Loma, he lost because he waited too long to get involved in the fight. But you can
Yep.
see that the weight difference didn't make that much of a difference. It actually hurt Haney that he had to cut that much, and he started getting tired in the late rounds. So Loma almost stole the fight.
Loma did the same thing with Tio though, bro. He waited till like the 8th round to start really fighting.
Because he's intimidated. Well, if you're bigger than Loma, I don't know if he's intimidated by it, but he hesitates so much to go in there and get hit. It's like, bro, you're letting rounds slip away. That's one thing I'll give Tank. Tank, he'll take the hit in order to try to win the fight and win the round and get the knockout. Loma,
So,
it's like take him a while when he in there against somebody that's bigger than him. We saw it with
Loma-
Alito, we saw it with Tio, we saw it with Devin. If you're bigger
Loma
than
did the
Loma,
same thing
he's
against
gonna think
Lopez.
twice.
He did the same thing against Tio. He like you see it, he's hesitant in the first like 6 rounds to throw with Tio, but then when he did, he was like pretty dominant. It's like,
So that means it's a mental thing with him. Like he's worried about these motherfuckers being bigger than him. He could have won all of those fights. He could have been undisputed. He could have been who Bob Arum wanted him to be. But he was
Yeah.
worried about getting hit by bigger men, as opposed to just going in there and trying to dominate. But that's on him. Shit.
I think the Salido fight should have been a disqualification though, because it was 60 plus low blows and 28,000, not one warning.
I tell you
That was
one
crazy.
thing though. If Toledo tried that with like a young Floyd Mayweather, Floyd would have hit Toledo right back in the nuts. Lomachenko was supposed to adapt. He didn't, so that's on him.
Do you think Rolly has the chance to beat Pitbull coming up?
Yeah, Rolly got a chance, but I got Pitbull winning.
Did you guys watch that John Ryder fight last night?
Yeah.
What's happening with Canelo now that fight happened?
He's gonna fight Jermall Charlo, I think.
Oh,
I mean,
you
Jamal
better
Charlo
want to
might
fight
need
Jamal
another
Charlo
fight or
because
two.
nobody want to fight that Mexican monster. That's really what's going on.
They
Yeah,
calling him a
He
weight
looked
bully.
like a mini Mexican Tyson Fury type motherfucker. Like he looked like he looked like he can fight.
On my other account, I commented on one of your videos and I said Canelo is running from bro, and there was people getting mad at me saying that. And don't you think like Canelo fans like, I don't know, I feel like I like Canelo. He's a great boxer, but I feel like he's doing everything he can to like. You said what?
Canelo fans at the end of the day, they don't want to see him lose, so they don't really. You can't trust them. They don't want the best fights. They want the best fights for Canelo.
I mean,
That's a
hey,
good
but
point.
his fans do really believe he could beat Benavidez. I just let me see my time.
If they believed it, they wouldn't be saying shit like, "Who has Benavidez fought? Benavidez doesn't deserve a fight with Canelo."
yeah.
They don't.
Do you think
Deep
Demetrius
down, they
and
think that Canelo is going to get stopped.
do you think Demetrius Andrade how would he fare against Canelo if they ever
He
fought?
probably would have lost on the cards, but he probably would have been working Canelo, especially in the later rounds when Canelo's getting tired. Andrade is like 6 foot tall, 74-inch reach, unorthodox fighter, and he's undersized for super middleweight, but so is Canelo. So
So that's a better matchup.
Benavidez can go up to
I don't want to see Munguia versus Canelo. That's an easy
Nobody
one for
does.
Canelo.
It's a fight that they're trying to make people care about. They told the announcers at the fight to be talking about it as soon as the fight was over. What did they say? The announcer was like, "Canelo, are you watching this? I mean, Munguia just blah blah." Like, bro, no one cares. You're not fooling anybody. We've been trying to see the Benavidez fight for 3 fucking years. Munguia hasn't done shit at super middleweight at all. So this is just a cherry pick. They're trying to build it up, but we all know what it is, and we all know that Canelo, although he's an all-time great, he's at the end of his career and he no longer wants the best fights, and it is what it is.
I think like at the moment Munguia has probably the most padded record, other than Zerto Ramirez before he fought Bivol.
He gets hit so much. Like it's just like he has. I don't know. I don't think he just overwhelms his opponent.
Who do y'all think he should actually fight besides Canelo? Like I got a person in mind, but this fight would probably never happen.
What are you talking about? Munguia?
Yeah.
You know what? Fuck it. People keep talking. I seen this on YouTube. Make Munguia, because Canelo not gonna fight Benavidez. Make Munguia fight Benavidez.
Oh Lord, that would be a slaughter.
No, it would be great though. Because listen, that will show the world whether or not Munguia can hang with the top dog.
I think Benavidez posted on his story saying, I would beat this dude easy or
What
something.
what really happened if Benavidez fights?
What about? Okay, we're talking about Benavidez, but what about David Morrell? I know he has like a low record,
Morrell
but like
has
nobody
stopped
talks about
8
him.
fights, man. Sorry, but he just no. He has to get. I don't care if he fight another 6 tomato cans. If he fights Benavidez right now, he's gonna get stumped just because he doesn't have the experience. He need
What
like
about
6 more
Munguia?
fights.
What about him fighting Munguia?
No,
It's not
that's a
too,
great
bro.
fight. That's a great fight.
Yeah, it's a
That
good
I
fight.
think that's a better matchup.
Yeah,
I
because
see.
Munguia, he don't even his defense bad. Like even though he got 40 fights, the guys who he's been fighting, you could call in the question. So it's like it'd be a good fight for both of them. But
What's
But yo, my phone about to die, so I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here. Everybody that came up on the live, I appreciate y'all.
my
The
G?
live replay will be available on YouTube. I'm also gonna be breaking down the Canelo, I mean not the Canelo, the Jaime Munguia versus John Ryder fight on Patreon. I'll be working on that tonight. I'll probably have it done within a couple of days. But thanks for the follow, carry my world, and y'all have a good night, man.
Yeah,
Have
Sorry
a
you
to
good one.
anybody who their heart is hurting because the Ravens lost. but
I'm mad the Detroit Lions lost. That was tough to watch.
Yeah, they said they motherfuckers they
I
put a
live in
fast
Detroit.
one on y'all and rigged it,
You
and
must
the
not know how
49ers
I
took
feel.
them back. But yeah, I'm out of here, man. Peace.